So I have James, the IT Director for PrettyLittleThing with me today, and he's kindly agreed to talk about his experience with our Fred Hopper tool. So without further ado, I guess we'll just jump into doing this. But before we start the questions, James, could you give a little bit of background on PrettyLittleThing and your experiences so far, how you've come to be where you are?
Yeah, sure. So as a brand, we founded 5 years ago by two brothers, Adam and Uma. And it started out as an accessories-only website. They identified a gap in the market for a fast-paced fashion website which sold celebrity looks at affordable prices. So we now have a total of 220 staff across Manchester, London, and LA. And the growth's just been phenomenal over the last 5 years. Earlier on this year, Boohoo PLC purchased a controlling stake in the business as well, so that's really helped us in terms of capital and growth.
Great. And PrettyLittleThing have clearly identified a gap in the market for young, trendy shoppers. Can you tell me a bit more about your customers? Yeah,
so our customers, we kind of see them as a 16 to 24-year-old. We've got over 2 million registered customers now, which is amazing. And we say our customers are looking for a champagne lifestyle at a Prosecco budget, so they're addicted to fashion, they're continually spending a lot of time on social media. We did some studies on an average, our customers spend 2 hours a day on social media, whether that be Instagram and Facebook. And they never wear the same outfit twice, so it's a social suicide if they're seen in the same dress more than once. So the strategy's encouraged, rapid growth across all of our platforms. So we're now just at over 2 million followers on Instagram and over 1 million on Facebook.
Very impressive. So what requirements do fast fashion retailers have with regards to search and merchandising?
So from a technical perspective, we launch probably 50 products a day, maybe a bit more than that, 70 products a day, so roughly about 500 products a week we release. So we need a tool that can handle constant changes. And the customers are continually changing the way that they interact with us as a brand. So I was pulling some stats off earlier on, and it was really interesting to see that we get a 10% conversion rate from people who use the site search, and they spend 4 times longer on site than customers that don't. And we see an over 10% conversion rate on customers that use the faceted navigation against a 3.6% conversion rate on customers that don't. So I think it's really key in terms of our customers are, 70% of our traffic comes from mobile. They're shopping quickly, they're shopping on the go, and they're reacting to the situation. So Thursdays are always busy for us because they're looking for the product for next day delivery coming out on Friday. We regularly see more than 70 orders a minute throughput as well on the site. So some of our products we carry quite low stock, so the platform has to continually re-merch the product depending on how much stock cover we've got. And when it goes out of stock, it needs to disappear as quickly as possible. So we really need something that we can update regularly, can handle load and spikes in traffic, and allows the team to be really flexible. So we use a mixture of manual merchandising and rule-based merchandising, and that's the same across all the international markets as well. So we can merge mobiles differently than we have to merge desktop. We also, need something which is very configurable, and our products change a lot. We introduce, I think in the last year, we've introduced children's wear, plus size, and also fitness range as well. So the facets are always changing. We're always adding new collections and styles. So we need something that can really work with that, and the teams can merchandise. And scalability as well. I mean, we get massive spikes in traffic when we do celebrity endorsements. And Fred Hopper we've been a customer for almost 2 years, and we've never once had an outage from the platform. So the response times are always under 300 milliseconds, and we never have an issue even when we scale. So it's really nice to be able to rely. It drives our whole product listing page, so if you guys go down, there is no product shown on site.
Yeah, of course. And since we've been talking about scalability, can you tell us why you see huge spikes in traffic?
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of work with some big global influencers, some with the Kardashians, and I've got a list of them here, and I don't really know any of them, to be honest. I've never watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but Yeah, we do a lot of collaborations, and we have a kind of 4 or 5 brand ambassadors that we work with on an ongoing basis. So with them, we've seen our customer base grow from like 122,000 in 2014 to like 1.3 million in start of 2017. So when we first did a collaboration with Lucy Meck off Towie in mid kind of 2015, and the dress that she wore in that sold out within 15 minutes on site. So the spikes, the traffic that we see from that is astronomical. And then we did a launch party with Kylie Jenner over in the US. I think she wore an orange dress, and we've sold 100,000 units of that so far. So it's been very popular.
It's amazing the effect that the social influencers have on.
Yeah, and I think these influencers have in the region of like 7 million followers each. So it's a big reach. So yeah, we regularly kind of reach 11,000 concurrent users on site in the evenings, and that's part of the reason why we really rely on you guys. I don't think Magento as a platform could actually handle loading the products at that rate, and the load that would be put on the back-end platform in terms of building those categories would be astronomical. So we always know that you guys are going to respond very quickly with your XML, and we can parse that into the front end.
Sure. And was that the reason that you decided Fredhopper was the most suitable technology solution for you guys, or was there other reasons?
I've worked with Fredhopper years and years ago, and we evaluated other platforms, and I've worked with when you were separate ATTRAQT as well. But it allows us to be really flexible, and we can pick, we can say the first row of products we want to be merchandised based on rule sets, and that's going to be based on stock cover, it's going to be based on product margin, or we can manually merge that for new in because the teams prefer to actually make that look more visually. I don't understand how they do it, but they make it look more visually attractive. So during Cyber, when we start doing promotions, we'll start off with driving higher product margin products to the top of the page, and that's all done automatically. So it was really good for us to be able to do that. And as we roll out international sites that we have been doing, the amount of time it takes to manually merge all those pages is crazy. So it really allows us to automate a lot of it, and then we can just manually tweak the parts we want to. We also do a lot of integration with our A/B testing platform, which integrates really well, so we can test model shots, mannequin shots, stills, campaign images on products, and we can also alter and make a lot of changes to the facet navigation. And Google Analytics integration is also very good, so we can track all of the click-throughs on every facet, on every drop-down, and also scroll rates through the pages. We're also quite a reactive business, so as a fairly small company, we'll be told we've got 10 minutes to create a category, which is 50 dresses at 50% off. And we can do that with you guys really quickly. We can build that category. The data's pushed every 15 minutes, including all the stock levels and price changes, and we can create that category and get it on site.
It helps you to be very reactive.
Yeah, very reactive.
Good. Well, you must have a very complex technology stack to help the growing business. So what other technology are you using? Yeah,
so we run on a Magento Community Edition. It's heavily customized. Moved away from what you'd probably recognize. All of the development work's done in-house. We have a team of 40 developers, BAs, PMs, testers, DevOps, and operation staff who work around the clock to maintain the site. We have everything in the cloud, so everything's AWS-based to allow us the scalability that we need during peak, so we can burst capacity really easily. And we've kind of moved away from having traditional architecture to more microservice-based, so with eventual consistency between the platforms. So we don't look for an order immediately to appear everywhere. It's all about the fact that if one system goes down, it's held and then it's processed at a later date.
Great, okay. So how easy was it for you to implement Fredhopper?
The initial integration took us about 4 weeks to do. That was the most complicated bit, was getting the data in the format that we were happy with. and it takes quite a while to get that. We had, previously and historically, we had a lot of different attributes, a lot of duplication, and I don't think we'd really thought about faceted navigation properly. So a lot of the time was spent tidying up the product data and getting it into a format that we really felt happy with, and that we could process with you guys. The front end implementation was very easy. We got that done within a week, and you just return an XML response, and we parse that into the front end. We have started to cache requests as well, just for speed, because we're getting an astronomical number of requests every day now. So we send attribute updates, products, any changes, any stock level changes every 15 minutes, and there's a team of 6 now that are continually merging the products throughout the day. Great.
And globalization is obviously a key part of your strategy. So how does technology cope with the complexities of a global operation?
Yeah, globalizations it has been difficult. Every time you create a new store, you end up duplicating everything, every product, every stock level, every price list. So you end up with a very large database and data set. And also when we're trying to merge that in different countries with different seasons, it becomes very time consuming. So before we moved over to you guys, we had teams manually having to push products in Australia, to the top when it was summer there and it was winter here. They were trying to push them to the bottom, and we ended up in this constant battle of trying to align each of the countries properly to the merge strategy. So that has been difficult, but I think we're in a good place now. And also we run different promos in different countries, delivery methods, and just trying to get all of the tech as close to the customer as possible to make the experience as fast as possible.
Sure. And across different devices and platforms, and you found that's been quite easy?
Yeah, so we've seen a massive shift. 70% of our traffic comes from mobile now, with a pretty impressive conversion rate of just under 5% as well of mobile. So last week we had a UK overall conversion rate of like 6.2%. So we're seeing customers are really starting to shift to converting on mobile rather than just browsing as well. So yeah, with FredOpera we can push different products on different devices. So we can specifically say on mobile devices we're going to push the lower price point products first, because the customers have a lower average order value on mobile than they do on desktop. And on mobile, I think there was a stat that they pulled out the other day that customers who use the faceted navigation on mobile spend average of 12 minutes on site, which is 4 times more than the average, and the conversion rate is over 10%. So it's really driving people. They're not just browsing; they're actually looking for a specific product to purchase on mobile devices.
Great. Okay. And what's next steps with you for technology for PLT?
It's continually changing. I think we've got some big launches coming up this year and coming into kind of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So we're looking to move as much as possible closer to the customer and scale out what is a UK data center or an Ireland data center at the moment with AWS into global data centers, allowing us to reduce the latency that we're seeing to customers. We're looking at splitting the checkout out of Magento and scaling that independently as a microservice, similar to the way Amazon process payments. So instead of looking for a real-time transaction, they just place it in a queuing platform behind the scenes, and you might get an email 50 minutes later saying your order's actually failed, but it's because at that point it's only just been processed. We're also looking to try and integrate personalization a lot more into what we do, and it's difficult because we have to cache a lot of our content because of the amount of traffic that we get, but we're trying to integrate. We work with Monetate as well quite heavily to try and serve that, and I think it's important to build that into your merchandising strategy as well. If we know a customer buys blue dresses, we should be pushing blue dresses, not only on the cross-sells and the upsells and on the checkout process on the basket. We need to be doing that actually in the product listings.
Sure, and maybe on content as well. Will you be tailoring content to those users?
Yeah, we've started to do that. we're doing quite a lot of stuff in the US at the moment, so we're tailoring content depending on you know, where you are in the US and time zones.
Personalisation is definitely still a massive thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I don't think we're not doing enough with it as much as we could do, and it's very time consuming to kind of build it up and be happy with the tests that you're running, and make sure that you're seeing a benefit.
I think all retailers probably feel the same on that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say we do. We're doing everything we can.
Sure. Well, that's the end of the questions that we had lined up for you. I guess we can probably take some questions.
Yeah, sure.
From the audience. If anyone would like to.
I've got one. Just in terms of the technology that has been implemented and the intelligence that is coming through it, and the, if you like, the ability to change things on such a rapid basis. That's the technology side. On the people side, how much of a team needs to be built up to take full advantage of that product?
Yeah, I think there's a real split. So as a techie, I always think merchandising could be 90% automated, but I keep getting told that's not possible because a computer doesn't know what looks nice next to each other. So we use a real mixture of both. So we'll generate the, you know, new in, for example, we'll probably manually merge the first 2 pages, and then the rest of it will be based on rule sets. But with Fred Hopper, we can say row 1 we want to manually merge, row 2 is going to be based on stock cover, row 3 is going to be based on product margin, row 4 is, and then row 4 onwards is just going to be based on a general merchandising strategy. So it's really flexible, and I think, you know, I don't think we use it to the full potential because there's so much you can do with it. And we've had some time with one of your consultants about 3 months ago, and you know the platform's so powerful, and I think you need to really spend time looking to use it properly and building a strategy around it that works.
Yeah. Anyone else?
No.
Oh, sorry. Behind you.
Just wanted to go back. Oh, not switched on. I just wanted to quickly go back to the point you made about testing imagery.
Yeah.
What kind of results did you see? Was it worth the investment in that?
Yeah, it was interesting depending on the product. So if we saw a big increase if, for example, the product was shot on a celebrity or one of our brand ambassadors. When we switched to campaign images, we saw an increase in product sales. And on model always sells better generally than mannequin. But then it depends very much on the product. Whether, you know, if it's a necklace, it potentially sells better actually on a mannequin than it does on a model, but whereas if it's a dress, it sells better. The best place is selling it on a campaign image.
Can I thank you both? It's a really interesting session. So can we have a big round of applause, please?